Gordon Ramsay is one of the most well-known chefs in the world. Is it because his food is divine? Or because he can cook better than any other human being on Earth? Maybe. Or is it because he is savagely entertaining? We know that every time he loses it, we are all in for one hell of a show.
Congratulations. On the worst dish in this competition so far.
Of course, we feel sorry for those on the receiving end of his tirade, but hey, don't get into the arena if you can't handle the competition. But today, we're going to look at the 10 times Gordon Ramsay was actually nice. Show your love and support for Gordon and us by subscribing and leaving us a big thumbs up. Twitter storm. For quite a while now, people have been stupid enough to tweet Gordon Ramsay pictures of their culinary efforts. This unusual practice must be a result of those stupid challenges that kids are into nowadays. Or, you know, people like being stomped on and cussed at. Look, I don't know why they do this, it is probably some kind of joke. I'll admit that I like reading his replies, since I take inspiration from his words and use them in my own everyday life. And yes, I know what you're thinking, I'm not very popular in my office at the moment. Anyway, the majority of these people have probably never cooked a meal before sending Gordon these pictures, and he feels no shame in letting them know exactly what he thinks of their culinary efforts. Suffice to say, most of his Twitter followers will never become chefs. But then, one day, a woman sent in a picture of her fiancé's efforts. She was no doubt proud of what he had accomplished, and it is a very sweet gesture, because Gordon actually complimented the dish. That does not happen often, and you can only imagine the look on her fiancé's face when she showed him the good news. Twitter exploded. People retweeted the compliment and the internet was broken for a few days. Some users commented that Gordon must have been hacked. Some asked if he was feeling alright, and the ecstatic woman thanked Gordon profusely. Some users thought that this was their moment too, and Gordon's feed was flooded by pictures of creations by amateur home chefs. It turned out that Gordon was quite alright, because in seconds he was back to tearing people's culinary hopes and dreams to shreds. A touching moment. In Season 3 of Gordon Ramsay's Master Chef, a blind chef named Kristen Ha joined the show, and predictably Gordon made her cry. But unpredictably, it was tears of joy rather than pain. Christine explained that she relies heavily on her other senses while cooking, and that she has a very careful knife technique to keep from cutting herself. Her hard work and determination make her as good, if not better, than her fellow chefs. Everything was going well in the competition until disaster struck. Ramsay tasked all the contestants with baking an apple pie, which seemed simple enough. Christine was not an experienced pie maker, and she got extremely flustered. When walking up to the judges' podium, Gordon remarked on how flustered she had looked. She then asked Christine what she thought her pie looked like. Christine replied humbly that she thought it looked like rubbish. In a touching moment, Ramsay describes that her pie looks like a poetic accuracy and tells the nervous chef to stop doubting herself. He tells her to be bold, and he helps engage her other senses by lightly scraping the top of the pie, asking her what she hears. What follows is a motivational speech that has everyone, even the other contestants, in tears. He tastes the pie and exclaims that the flavor is amazing. Everyone in the room starts clapping, and Christine is stunned. It definitely had some people choking up from emotion. Not me, though. I'm made of stone. I'm cold as ice. I just had some dust in my eye, that's all. Moving on. Fatherly advice. If you want to see Gordon Ramsay's softer side, you have to watch MasterChef Junior. As a father himself, Gordon is tough on the kids, but considerably less tough than he is with adults. Now, if you think that MasterChef is a show about kids making some mac and cheese or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you are sadly mistaken. Those kids are culinary geniuses. Seriously, these kids are like mini chefs, and it would be a mistake to underestimate their skills. But they are still kids. Gordon's soft side is best displayed during one episode when the children are tasked with baking, and one 12-year-old's batter goes horribly wrong. The poor girl starts sobbing. She probably watches the regular version of MasterChef with her parents. Gordon rushes off the podium to comfort her. In a gentle voice, he starts helping her to correct her mistakes. Gone is the shouting and insults, and it is all replaced with a fatherly tone as he kindly helps her through the stressful round. Audience members were touched, and the poor girl looked fortified when he had to leave. It was a surprising, yet beautiful moment that left audience members and viewers in a state of pleasant shock. Homesick. Nothing is more touching than the look on Gordon's face when he met a fellow Scot on the set of his show. A brave Scottish woman decided to audition with, get this, haggis, a Scottish dish that sounds as appealing as a root canal. Gordon looked like a kid on Christmas morning when she revealed that she too was from Glasgow, and the look of pride on his face when he tasted her meal is hard to miss. The other judges weren't overly impressed, and one judge commented that the Scottish food sounds like it was created from a dare, which is kind of rude, but also kind of funny. So perfectly mimicking Ramsay's humor then. After all the judges had tasted her food, it was time to decide whether or not she was a good enough cook to enter the competition or not. Judge number 1 was not impressed and could not say no fast enough, but judge number 2 was kinder and said yes. Then it was Ramsay's turn. He made the woman stress for a little bit by making her think that he was saying no, but then surprised her by saying yes. It makes sense because after tasting her food, he commented that it made him homesick, with tears in his eyes. We can all sympathize with homesickness, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Well, except for his fellow judges, who looked surprised that Gordon is actually human. Scolded in Malaysia. All the masters are humble students. It makes sense though, because to keep being the best, you need to learn about the best. We aren't born with automatic knowledge. We have to take the journey to learn things. Our work is never done and we will never stop learning. A few years ago, Gordon Ramsay proved that he still has a lot to learn.
You men are impatient. Just a moment.
Filming in Malaysia, Gordon asked Aunt Amy, who has her own restaurant, to show him how to make rendang, a classic dish. Well, she showed him, in more ways than one. While most chefs would treat Gordon like the famous chef that he is, Aunt Amy showed him who was boss. She told him in no uncertain terms what to do and even pushed him around a bit. Gordon took it all gracefully, and as a result, he was able to boast a near-perfect rendang. Of course, he had to learn the value of ayak-ayak. Ramsay's head nearly imploded when the feisty Auntie Amy explained that she relies on feeling instead of exact measurements. It is such a satisfying moment watching him struggle to contain all the Ramsay, because believe me, Aunt Amy would have out-Gordon Ramsay'd Gordon Ramsay. But all turned out well in the end. They even parted ways as friends, which does not always happen with Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen. Chocolate Ramsay Sundae. To say that Ramsay has a soft spot for kids is a bit of an understatement. While the poor unlucky adult contestants get PTSD from appearing on his show, the kids get a guiding hand and a whole lot of fun, which I think is a healthy balance. Screaming and all, he is not afraid to show off his softer side and prove that he is a good sport about pretty much everything. This is evidenced when he allowed the kids on MasterChef Junior to turn him into a giant ice cream sundae. The little monsters, rascals, were encouraged to turn him into a delicious sweet treat, and they obliged. Armed with every kind of ice cream and topping under the sun, they stormed the food mogul and turned him into a mess of treats. He endured the torment in silence and didn't drop a single expletive, all the while aware of the innocent ears around him. Until you have gone through this harrowing experience, and let's not forget that the kids aren't the gentlest of creatures, you will not truly understand the restraint that he must have had. Embarrassing dad. You know what all dads with teenagers have in common? They are embarrassing. Yep, every single one of them. Your dad could be Mick Jagger, Bear Grylls, or any other icon of coolness, but if they have a teenager, they are downright embarrassing. Gordon Ramsay, unfortunately, does not escape the embarrassing dad catalog. One day, he decided to attend his daughter Tilly's parent-teacher conference. He decided that he wanted to be more involved in their education or something, and so he decided to endure the horrors of high school for his sweet daughter, which is kind of sweet. My dad paid me to allow him to skip those. Don't worry, the price was exorbitant. But moving on, Gordon Ramsay forgot one important little fact. He is Gordon Ramsay. Most adults don't like being told in graphic details why they are an utter moron. But off Ramsay went with all the optimism in the world. It did not end well. We aren't told what transpired in the hallowed walls of Tilly's private school, but it wasn't pretty. Apparently, Gordon Ramsay, who spends more time swearing than breathing, caused quite a stir. Now, we have all been there where we have been politely asked to leave by some uptight-looking old person. But Ramsay was so bad that the school sent a letter the next day asking his wife to come unaccompanied next time. I mean, I've done some terrible things, but all I got was a disapproving glare. So whatever he did must have been epic. Thankfully, Tilly was a good sport about it and proudly sported a shirt that read, "Please excuse my embarrassing dad." That sounds about right, doesn't it? Crying over the bacon. Bacon is good and delicious, and if you say that you don't like it, we can't be friends. I'm not friends with blatant liars, but I do want to see where bacon comes from. I look the other way when I see cute little piggies. And yes, I am deeply ashamed of myself. But Ramsay is not. He decided to show the world what really happens at an abattoir. So he raised 2 pigs in his home, 2 sweet little animals, and took them to an abattoir. He then let his camera crew film the whole thing and air it. He wanted the world to see what happens to the animals that provide their meat. And before you go throwing red paint all over him, PETA said it was okay. So that makes it about right. The reason he did this is because he wanted those deaths to mean something. This is a very touching sentiment, but one of the most touching moments was watching his reaction. You almost expect him to be cool and unaffected, but he isn't. He looks visibly shaken up and is brought to tears by their deaths. It isn't a pretty scene, and you cry along with him. This took a lot of guts on his part and a stomach of steel. It shows that he cares, and under that gruff exterior, he also cries at the end of The Notebook. Helps a struggling cook. When people confide in Gordon Ramsay, it does not end well. They end up in therapy not because of their problems, but because of what Ramsay said about their problems. Keep in mind as I continue with this story, Ramsay recently went on Reddit and invited fans to ask him anything. There were some ridiculous ones designed to elicit a volley of insults and a few standard questions. But then, a struggling chef vented his feelings. In a few hundred words, he painted the picture of what it is like to start out as a chef, and it is brutal. This guy pours his heart and soul out into his message, and it just about breaks your heart. The desperate tirade ends with the words, "How did you deal with it?" And you just want to go to this guy and give him a big hug. And maybe a chain of restaurants named after him. I mean, seriously, I thought being a chef was just about throwing stuff in a pot for a limited amount of time. Obviously, I have a lifetime ban from ever cooking again, but I digress. And then Ramsay responds, and you almost expect some indifferent response. But then he surprises you. He responds with an equally long letter of encouragement. He offers him a job. He tells him that even the great Gordon Ramsay was once at the bottom of the totem pole, and tells him 3 simple words: never give up. The entire exchange will leave you in shock and ensure that next time you go to a restaurant, you go and compliment each and every chef working there. He's a pushover for his kids. What is the one word that does not describe Ramsay? Softy? Pushover? Ask any of the contestants on his show and they will die for cover. Gordon Ramsay is not a pushover, except he is, for his kids. Just his kids. Seriously, don't think he is a pushover in any other part of his life. Otherwise, it will end very badly for you. In a recent interview, his wife revealed this shining nugget of truth about her beloved husband. He is an absolute teddy bear for his kids. When it comes to them, he allows them to trample all over him. And it is sort of cute. She says that they just have to go to him to get whatever they want. It is good to know that the whole world might be subjected to his witty abuse, but his family sees another side of him. That doesn't mean that he isn't a good dad, though, and his daughter Tilly reveals that he can be quite tough on them, because he wants what is best. A balance is important, and it just shows what kind of father he is. He loves them enough to set boundaries, but also loves them more than his tough image. No, but seriously, don't expect to see that side of him if you ever meet him. It would be like assuming a bear is nice just because she looks after her cub. That bear will eat you for dinner if you come too close. It may be rare, but Gordon Ramsay can be nice. In fact, when he is nice, it is done in such a way that you forget about all the other times he wasn't. Don't tell him that, though. You don't want to be an idiot sandwich. What do you think about that, Gordon Ramsay? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.